Holy shit, everyone. So, Hollyoaks has just announced that Dodger Savage, aka Danny Mac, is going to be returning to Hollyoaks. Now, honestly, I'll take a shit ton of exits if we can get Dodger back. If you don't know who Dodger was, Dodger is the brother of Sienna. She had that weird incest relationship with him, and they conceived Nico. But Dodger, generally, he's the golden boy. He was always squeaky clean. He always had his top off, and he, all in all, is he's a Hollyoaks icon in a sense, all right? Anybody who's watched Hollyoaks for any period of time knows who Dodger Savage is. And now you can understand why the fuck they've been building so heavily around the Blake family. So, first and foremost, holy shit, it's genuinely big news, right? Never watched Dodger. Take a look back at some of those clips. Have a fucking peek. Dodger is incredible. He is a ladies' man. He is a constant charmer. And he is a genuine person who wants to do good. He wants to do good in the world and wants to, stay keen. And just all in all, he is a very strong candidate and a very strong character. He may not be the most, he may not be the best actor, as I will just say, he has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He has won 8 Sexiest Male Awards at different soap awards. So, he's not the best actor. But Freddie Roscoe's on the show. And he'll look infinitely better than he will. But no, let me just stress this once again. A part of the Savage family, his dad is Patrick. Well, now Jeremy Blake. But he, it was raised by Dodger. And he proceeded to, like I said, he had a relationship with everyone, a relationship with Teresa. That just kind of reminds us, had a constant feud with Will Savage, who they had this till death do us part. I think he was with Texas for a while. But once again, this is a blockbuster announcement. Let's be honest, I'll be real with everyone. Doesn't look like the acting career has really taken off how he's expected. I don't really think he's having it the way that he's wanted to. So, and originally he spent 5 years in the role. And he spent 5 years in the role. But at this point, he's an aging actor. He's going to be what? He was born in 88. He's 36. The acting career's not exactly gone the way he wanted to. So once again, this is a really big deal. He stayed for 4 years, became a poster boy of the show. And I have some details that's in the Digital Spy article that is talking about it. So I will go ahead and read this. Hollyoaks brings back Strictly Star. Notice how they said Strictly Star, because he did have a good series on Strictly. I don't think he won, necessarily. I think he came second with OT. But I could be wrong. When did he come in Strictly? It just said he took... Yeah, he was a runner-up, exactly. But yeah. Hollyoaks has revealed that Strictly Star Danny Mac will be returning as Dodger Savage after originally leaving the soap in 2015. As reported by The Sun, Dodger's return will be a permanent rather than guest appearance. Notice that is a pretty fucking big deal. Permanent return. It's not like the Hannah Ashworth return, where it's like, she's coming back permanently. She's coming back shortly. That was a guest appearance. She's coming back for good. Like how Jackie appeared for an episode. Like how Myra appeared for a couple weeks. He is having a permanent return. Rather than a guest appearance, and Mac has already started filming with the soap, with Dodger due to be back on our screens in January in a dramatic reunion with the Blakes. A source said bosses are really keen to solidify the clans in the village, bring back Dodger and reuniting him with his sisters and dad and very dangerous grandmother is the cherry on top for them. Danny's really excited to be back filming and back on the show. It's a really exciting time under producer Anna Cheers. It was a perfect time to return. There are big plans for the character and a rebuilt Blake family with explosive twists and turns coming. I'm not going to lie, Dodger is going to have a kid or two. He's going to have kids. I will already make that prediction. You know, we can come back to this at a later time, but I 100% believe he will have a kid with him at least, as he's definitely fathered a couple of illegitimate kids somewhere. Mac joined the soap in 2011, and Dodger had his fair share of drama before leaving in 2015 as he went on the run after taking the blame when his daughter Nico pushed his brother Will off a rooftop. Prior to the announcement, Mac's co-star Anna Passy, who plays Sienna Blake on the Channel 4 soap, teased fans with an Instagram post, showing himself sat at the table with Mac, Hollyoaks producer Anna Cheers, and Jeremy Sheffield, who previously played Patrick but now plays Patrick and Jeremy. She captioned the post "no comment" and tagged the soap's account, which sent fans to a frenzy speculating whether it meant Dodger's return was imminent. After leaving Hollyoaks, Mac appeared in the 2016 series Strictly Come Dancing, and came alongside his partner Oti Mabuse. He also appeared in 2 episodes of Trolleyed and 3 episodes of Doctors in the 9 years since leaving the soap, so I'll just reiterate that. The acting career hasn't really gone as he planned, and he was never the strongest actor in Hollyoaks, but he fits right in with a group of very talented actors, that being the Blakes and, you know, the slight bit of Savage in there. And the family ties are important, as said before, and as I've been explaining the whole time. It feels like in this recent stint, most people who were axed were characters who you didn't really have the big families for. So, you know, the Osbournes, the Hutchinsons kind of, but they're kind of blending the Hutchinsons and the Lomaxes. Again, I say again, but you know, they're kind of blending them as a family. The McQueens, I'm sure there's another family that I'm forgetting, and you kind of have the Malicks, but you also have the Clarks, and it's that blended family once again. They were making a big deal out of trying to make these family units very strong, so you had a lot of a basis to do, especially because it doesn't seem like Hollyoaks going to be doing as much of the crime stuff, and they'll still be doing and the Blacks and the Blacks and the Roscoes as a family. They were trying to build them as a big, important family, and they've been building these families as a template to build a show around because, you know, this drama is what is leading it forward. That's why a lot of the cuts came into the excess characters, the characters who didn't have much family, and the characters who didn't necessarily add much. Like, unfortunately, Cindy, like Diane. Well, she hasn't confirmed yet, but it's heavily implied. So, at the end of the day, it's a very big return. I will say with one thing that I do mourn the loss of. I know how they brought back Jeremy, as in they didn't bring back Patrick from the dead, but they did bring back the character. It would be dishonest for me to mention that Sienna and Dodger's daughter, Nico, is dead. And it feels very unlikely that they will just once again retroactively change that this character has died. But I also think, even though they've rebuilt Hout now, because obviously Dirk is dead, they're still going to have a family. He's still going to have a dad to adjust to, because obviously he isn't going to realize suddenly Sienna is now kind of safe and alive with their dad. But obviously he knew Dirk as a dad and he knew Patrick as a dad. But ultimately is now adjusting to the fact that, you know, Jeremy is not Patrick and he's much different. I like the idea of the little mixture of Sienna, and I like the Dilly connection. Liberty has been severely lacking other family other than Sienna for years. But I do once again need to reiterate, it would be criminal to say, unfortunately, we don't have Nico back. And I know she is dead, but like a lot of other people, Nico was a very popular character, and I feel like most of us really did enjoy the character and really enjoyed what she brought to the role. And it is unfortunate that at the end of the day... Sorry, this news dropped late. It'll be very unfortunate at the end of the day that we will get Dodger and Sienna on our screens together, but we won't have we won't have Nico. That is still a hard loss. It's still a hard loss many years on, and it's something that I do genuinely mourn the loss of. She was a really interesting character. She was a really cool teenager. She was obviously a murderer and had a much darker side, which was really interestingly explored because it is obviously the Blakes. They are, to put a fine point on it, a little bit deranged, but in a good way. I swear. In a soap way, they are soap gold. So, look, it is fantastically exciting to bring back Danny Mac, and to bring him back in this role and for a permanent return at least means that the vision of the show is strong. Obviously, stuff will kind of go awry if in the end he is like, yeah, I'm permanently back. Oh, and 3 months in I've left, like Emma Rigby did. So time will tell, but it shows that they are planning for the future, because ultimately they weren't really allowed to plan for the future. They were planning for the very, very near future, where you have to jump a year and then change the fucking time and figure out how in the fuck you're supposed to navigate a time jump. So it's an unfortunate timing in a sense, but also it shows that they are looking to build upon what they've established recently, and with streaming numbers up and attention on the show an all-time high, a lot of their kind of call to actions, let's get the YouTube going, let's play the full episodes on YouTube. We're doing all of that. It means that there's been a greater degree of coverage, and it's also mean that it's kind of extending to it seems like a much younger audience that generally soaps don't necessarily attract. So it's now time to build on your current history and immerse it or re-establish it with a couple of characters from the past. You tried to do it with Hannah Ashworth, didn't work. But now it's time to kind of, there are some gaps in the cast. Like, let's be honest, the Misbah-Donnie family is incredibly weak. Dylan is the only interesting one. Vicky is okay, but she hasn't really had that breakout yet. And obviously Misbah and Donnie are the supportive characters. They're not having main fucking storylines. Like, you could definitely bring in an extra character or two to bolster a lot of the ranks of these families. It's like Cindy, for example. Probably wouldn't hurt if Cindy was still around, because she plays on a lot of the history and the legacy of the show that you've established. It'll be a really interesting character to have in this dynamic, and she could even be a part of the Blacks, the Grace Blacks family. It always feels wrong using that fucking name. And the Roscoes. So I think with all that said, though, this is a signing of intent. This is a character who showed a lot of promise at a much different time of Hollyoaks, a time where probably more people were tuned in and more people adored this. If we're just going for wish lists, I'd bring back Kim Butterfield. I don't know why. Just love her. Just absolutely love her. And I miss her entirely. I'd bring back Lindsay, but she's dead, so you can't really do that. There are so many characters that you mourn the loss of, and Nico is still one of them. But the news that Danny Mac is coming back as Dodger Savage is a really big deal. So fundamentally, if you don't know who it is, go back and look at some clips. He had a really good dynamic with Will Savage. Him and Dodger's relationship was good fun. And him and Sienna, interesting dynamic to say the least. And him and Nico were always enjoyable. So yes, Dodger Savage will be coming back to Hollyoaks in January for a permanent return. Are you excited? I'm excited. Tell me more in the comment section down below. I've been Ash from Watching Walford, reporting you this Hollyoaks news. Thank you for watching. Join me in the next one. See you then. Bye bye.